Welcome back to LimQ Plus, everyone. On this channel, I'm 100%ing Breath of the Wild by a bit every day until Tears of the Kingdom comes out, which is today, in 108 days. Today, I kind of wanted to talk about the characters that appear in Breath of the Wild, mainly because I was thinking about Kuss, who is standing somewhere over there, and my basically rough idea whether they will reappear in Tears of the Kingdom or not, and why. I think this is an interesting topic, obviously, with Tears of the Kingdom being a direct sequel, this world being essentially canon. I was wondering if every single character that appears in this game will also reappear in Tears of the Kingdom, just to give that away. I do not think so. And then I wanted to talk about the ones that I do think will reappear. Make sure to let me know your opinions too, and we can kind of discuss this. So, in the past, by the way, there has been this rumor, which I'm not gonna basically use here, that apparently like the Italian Daruk voice actor had in the past leaked that he was gonna be back for Tears of the Kingdom, making you think that the champions will reappear. But the champions are actually gonna be the first group of characters that I'm gonna address here, because I don't think the champions themselves are really gonna have a major role in Tears of the Kingdom. The reason I think so is because they've already been covered a lot, not only in this game, but it's almost like the Hyrule Warriors game has basically entirely revolved around them. I don't know if they're going to be completely absent from the story. Obviously, it's not like they will be forgotten or whatever. But I really don't think they're going to play a major role just because of how much they've been covered in this game and then also in Age of Calamity, which basically was a game entirely revolving around them. The same is true for the leaders of the different villages. I still don't know if the villages are going to be accessible the same way as they are in Breath of the Wild, obviously, but I feel like not only did they not play a super major role in this game, but they also had a little bit of more like screen time in Tears of the Kingdom, not Tears of the Kingdom, in Age of Calamity. I do think they might reappear, but I don't think they're going to be major characters in the story of Tears of the Kingdom. Let's talk about a character that I think will be in Tears of the Kingdom again, and that's going to be Paya. Now, for some reason, in my mind, I'm afraid that we might get this plot element in which Impa might actually pass away in Tears of the Kingdom. It's kind of like an emotional element. By the way, I have no idea when the last Blood Moon happened in this game. I would have to go back in the recordings to figure out when, because I eventually do have to get that. Have I ever picked up the travel medallion? Oh wait, I uninstalled the DLC. So because I do have to get this Blood Moon Shrine out of the ground at one point. I should probably be more aware when the next Blood Moon happens. I could also take a guess and just make a campfire right now until evening and see if maybe randomly today is Blood Moon Day. Well, it definitely won't be today because I feel like I guess we can wait until 9 o'clock. I just want to see this real quick. If not, I'm going to wait until the next evening and maybe we get lucky. But Paya, I think, has been a fan favorite. I think we might actually have the plot element of Impa's death and Tears of the Kingdom. And she's going to step up and get a bigger role. I think Paya was again, this is obviously completely speculative, so maybe completely wrong, but I think Paya was a fan favorite and hasn't appeared as much. And it would be cool to get some sort of character development where she steps up into the role of a young Sheikah woman with like some more screen time and some more story relevance than the Paya that we know from this game. Now, Kuss, in my opinion, I don't think will reappear. He was, again, a fan favorite. Maybe he's gonna have a small showing. I guess you could reuse him as a character that's centered around puzzles again. But with him basically being already the center character for the Champion's Ballad, I do feel like that Tears of the Kingdom, in my opinion, should highlight characters that were popular in Breath of the Wild, but didn't really have too much screen time, like Paya. Kuss having essentially a major role in the DLC, the Champion's Ballad. Okay, there's a normal moon. We don't need to wait anymore. Kuss having his own entire basically plotline in that DLC makes me think that unfortunately he might reappear, but I don't think he's gonna play a major role. Now, there's also a world where none of these characters reappear, which I really doubt, because we obviously don't really know the circumstances of Tears of the Kingdom. We don't know if Let me see, maybe we got really lucky. Nope, this would already be glowing if there was a blood moon tonight, by the way, in case if you ever wondered, if you're ever farming a blood moon and you make it 9 PM in the evening, if this isn't glowing already, this means there won't be a blood moon that night. But anyway, we obviously don't know the circumstances of Tears of the Kingdom, whether there's even any people around. I mean, I really hope so. It would be pretty sad if Tears of the Kingdom would be even more lonely than Breath of the Wild already is. And what the circumstances of the world are, maybe it plays in like an alternative universe. One question that a lot of people still have is about the bokoblins and moblins in Tears of the Kingdom. They seem to have like different shaped horns, and people had already thought, maybe this means this plays in like an alternate reality, alternate universe, where there's going to be completely new characters. I don't think it's going to be as drastic. I'm sure there's going to be new characters, not only up in the sky, but also down here. That's the interesting question, right? Like, if it's not in an alternate universe, I guess most of the characters down here should be the same. I guess the one point that I was really thinking about is I really don't think the champions are going to play a big role. Again, we've really covered them. I know they're a fan favorite, like people like them. Some people want them in Smash as playable characters. I really don't think they're going to play a major role. I think one good hint for that as well is that the champion's tunic doesn't seem to be a major centerpiece anymore of Link's outfit. You can kind of still see it in the new version with like the hood in what I'm still gonna be referring to this as like present Hyrule. Whenever I talk about Tears of the Kingdom, I basically split it up in present Hyrule and past Hyrule, even though this might not be the case. I know people disagree with me on this theory, but I do think there's two versions of Hyrule, one in the past and one in the future, I guess, from this game's perspective. We can still see the champion's tunic there, but the new green tunic seems to be the centerpiece, and I'm sure we're gonna get to know some Zonai characters. There might still be, people are still... Okay, apparently I already have all of these Koroks in the bag, that's good. There might be an introduction of a new, like, sort of sidekick character if Link happens to be by himself again. We've seen in this one small clip where Link is basically talking to this light. This clip happened when Aonuma confirmed that Tears of the Kingdom was delayed into 2023. You see this one shot of Link with the broken Master Sword talking to some sort of light figure. There might be an actually major character. I mean, I'm pretty sure there's at least going to be one major character that's going to be introduced to the game. Is it going to be some sort of sidekick, a la like Midna or Fi? I don't know, but I think the chances definitely exist. Okay, so basically just to summarize this, I guess my thoughts about reoccurring characters in Tears of the Kingdom is I think the champions are not going to play a major role anymore. The ancestors probably not either if the champions don't play a big role. Ancestors being Riju, Bludo, Teba, and Sidon, which Sidon actually probably the most marketable one, the one that people do really want to see reappear, so he might still get a little bit of a role in Tears of the Kingdom. And then I think this might be wishful thinking because I like the character. Paya, I think, could step up. Impa might actually not be around anymore. I feel like she's already at, towards the end of her power in this game. Obviously a little bit sad to think about, but I do really think that's a plot device that they could or might use. And then I guess the last two characters I didn't talk about yet are Robbie and Pura. They were relatively popular, I think. People liked them also because of Age of Calamity. I think Pura is more so the favorite. Robbie got a little bit more popularity in Age of Calamity because of his different appearance there. There's small characters like Beedle, obviously, and Kilton here at Skull Lake selling monster parts. We got very, very minor characters like Selmy here and Selmy Spot. I don't know if anyone even remembers these people's names. But overall, I think it makes sense for them to reuse a couple of them, even as a little bit of an homage to Breath of the Wild, as in like, oh, you played the first game, you probably remember this character, so let's add this cool detail. But I really do think Paya is the one that stands out to me. By the way, I'm going to be revisiting a lot of locations where I already have gotten the Korok seed, just because, like I said, in this play through here of the 100% route. I'm just making sure that I have actually gotten every single Korok seed. I don't want to miss out on any of them. And champions, I think, are not going to be super important. Just, I think there's a pretty good chance that we get a new sidekick character. If we don't get a new sidekick character, and that light that Link is talking to isn't a new sidekick character, I do still believe there's a small chance that we somehow get to interact with Zelda herself in the game. That's, for me personally, my biggest, well, not request, but it would be my biggest wish. It would be really cool. We've never really gotten that in the game before, where we get to play with, not necessarily play as Zelda, but where they basically have interaction as we go through the story. I really think that would be really cool, but my hopes for that are limited, to say the least. Very laggy here, so that mid-air kind of failed. But yeah, I kind of wanted to reflect on my thoughts about recurring characters in Tears of the Kingdom. And those are pretty much my thoughts. Let me know what you think, if you've even thought about this before, because I mean, I've obviously thought about this before, talked about this on stream before, but I never really fully, you know, written down or really reflected on my thoughts until today. So I guess that's what I just did. Let me know what you think again. I'm gonna continue here tomorrow. We are at 52.77%, gonna be going through the Great Plateau and then through Hyrule Field as we get closer to 100 days and 100%. 107 days until Tears of the Kingdom tomorrow. Direct announcement could actually happen any week now. Could happen this week. I hope you guys have a good week, by the way, in general. If you want to, I'm going to be streaming again this week, because even though you can still hear me cough, I'm definitely feeling better. Appreciate you for hanging out, and I will see you tomorrow.